I first want to welcome on stage a mother who lost her young son when he was fighting terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir, and he actually went out of the line of duty, well beyond duty, to save families. And he was recommended for a Shaurya Chakra. His mother will tell us what happened to that, but she's devoted her life to fighting for the honor of not just her son's memory, but also of all military families. May we please welcome on stage Meghna Girish. Let's have a big round of applause for this brave, brave mother, Meghna. Please have a seat. Shakuntala Bhandarkar, the wife of Colonel Ajit Bhandarkar, who also lost her husband in action. These are all wives and mothers of fallen soldiers, of martyrs, of our heroes. And we'll ask her how she raised her two sons after she lost her husband. Please put your hands together for Shakuntala Bhandarkar. Can we please have you on stage? And finally, Salma Shafeeq, wife of Major Shafeeq, who also lost his life in action, and in fact lost his life while trying to save a fellow soldier. So these are all fallen soldiers, all military martyrs, and their mothers in some cases and wives in other cases, the Veer Naris of the Indian military, have literally held up the backbone of the army and other allied services. May I please welcome on stage Salma Shafeeq. I just want to take a moment before I start talking to these incredible women to just reflect on this image. They're so composed. There's so much peace on their face. Can you even contemplate how much inner strength they must have? Let's just commemorate them with one round of applause before we start our conversation. Meghna, I'll start with you. It's very difficult for anyone to lose a child. Your son is a hero, and I'll come a little later to the battle you're fighting for his honor. But I want to understand what a mother tells herself. Yes, you tell yourself, my son's a hero. My son, you know, this is the son I raised because he actually went out of his way to save other people's lives. But what do you tell yourself emotionally?
Right now, I'm thinking how he would have loved being here.
Oh, he is here. Let's think that he is here.
And earlier I heard Nisha Millet say how all the effort, all the struggle that someone goes through is all worthwhile when you hear the national anthem play. And I think that whether it's my son or it's a whole lot of other sons before mine and husbands of Salma and Shakuntala, they are the ones who come home wrapped in the national flag. And it is because of them that everything else in the country, the development, the progress, each of us following our dreams and aspirations, they've contributed to that. So I tell myself, I grieve for him a lot. I won't deny that. But I tell myself, he went doing what he loved doing. And if he had to go, if that was his destiny, this is the way he would have wanted to go, saving other people's lives and laying down his life for his country.
How old was your granddaughter when Akshay was martyred in action?
And then I was 3. Akshay was not yet 31. He was married early at 25.
And you have this serenity about you. I want to understand it. I want to understand what strength gives you, that there's something about all three of you that exudes, I don't know, it's that kind of strength that doesn't need to speak because it's just there.
I think it comes from the remarkable sons and husbands, if I can speak for both of them, the kind of people that they were, the strength, the courage, the commitment they showed in being ready to take on no matter what, putting aside their own dreams and aspirations. for a greater cause. I think it comes from there. If they could do what they did, not thinking ahead, then I think we owe it to that memory to keep going, to keep staying positive. They wouldn't like to see us broken.
And yet it doesn't end there. You see, I can understand if your battles ended with, I've learned to live without my son. I've learned to live without...
I haven't.
Nobody ever does, right? But in some ways, all three of you have transferred energy into causes. And I'll start with you, Shakuntala. Talk a little bit about being a single mom to 2 boys who, after losing your husband in action, you then send into the military. Your husband dies a hero in action, as a martyr, and you could have been the mom who said, I lost one bus, no more. And both your boys joined the military, one in the Navy, one joins his dad's unit. And you say what?
It was their wish. Like any other youth of today, my son, the elder one, he said he wants to join the army. So I said, so what? Getting selected in the army itself is quite tough, Barkha. I guess you know that. So I said, why should I stop him at the very first step? So, at all the steps he started clearing, he got cleared his interview, so he had to join. So it was his wish, so I just allowed him to, pursue his dreams and his passion. It'll be very, very selfish of me to have stopped him because of my own experiences. So he's enjoying his life there.
You weren't scared? You weren't worried? After what? After losing your husband?
Yeah. I got that question just about an hour back. There was another channel who had come home and asked me the same question. And I've been answering the same question for the past 3 days. 30th October was Ajit's martyrdom day. So that's how it was, and people asking me this question as to how do you take it? I said when a young boy or a youth wants to drive his bike, do we stop him by saying, oh, you'll die on a road accident, your bike will meet with an accident? If I say something like that, will you all agree to it? What do you say? It's important. I have to go and I have to travel. So the fear of death is something which we all are going to die one day or other. And I'm very happy that Ajit died with his boots on and for a better cause. So, rest in peace and Godspeed. I hope you all agree with me, or you have something else, please. You're welcome.
We are going to open this. I mean, I actually, before I come to Salma, let me ask you that. If somebody in your family died in a certain set of circumstances, would you be generous enough? Because that's really the word I'd use for these women. Would you be zinda dil and large-hearted enough to take that chance with somebody else in your family? No? Does anybody want to stand up and tell me what you think? Take that mic. Take that mic.
So as ma'am said, that it was in his destiny. He had to die like that. So death is in basically God's hand, and before you take birth, it's pre-written. So even if you don't go in army, you save your son from that. Maybe he's going to his college, maybe he's going anywhere, riding a bike, he can get an accident, he might slip, he might get any current attack, anything could happen and he could die. So that is something we can't stop, and if the person is going for such a good cause and doing something for his country, we should not stop him for our own selfish causes.
Easier said than done, Salma? A lot of people, want to believe that we respect the military, we love our anthem, we love our country, but how many of us are ready to send our family members into the forge?
I was more than willing to send both of my children. My daughter did write her CDS and she was supposed to go for the SSB. But by then she had already enrolled for her MBA. She was like, didn't want to.
Different direction.
Yeah. And for my son too, like he's got this short sight, which is not, which doesn't make him eligible for that. Otherwise, I was more than willing to send him to.
All three of you have this, did you always have this courage, or did you acquire this courage after learning the military way of life, Meghna?
I don't know. Honestly, nothing can prepare you for the loss of your most loved one. Nothing can. You don't know how much courage you have or you do not have until you're put into a situation where you're forced to draw on that courage. So I won't be able to answer, did I always have courage? Yes, I think I was as bold and brave as anybody else in my generation. Did I have the courage? I never thought I would lose my son, so I do not know. At the same time, I do come from a family. My father was in the army. My husband was a fighter pilot. And so was my brother, was a helicopter pilot. So in that sense, Akshay was third generation Fauji, but all of them have retired.
Yeah.
You know, leading, my dad is a 2-war veteran. They were all fine, but you don't want your son to be the first in the family to have to sacrifice his life.
And there's this photograph of you. In fact, we have photographs of the families of all three of them, and can we please bring them up on the screen? There's a photograph of you at the National War Memorial, and you're smiling. You know, there's this smile on your face, and I want you to explain that smile.
It's very funny, you know, Akshay hasn't left me. And wherever I go, I think, had he been here, he would have been thrilled to see his name in that memorial. He lived his life with Zinda Dil, pride. He touched many, many lives. He may have done only 9 years of service, but he's touched a lot of lives and he's gone in, you know, a blaze of heroism. So that smile is probably, Akshay would like to see his name besides so many other heroes here.
I would like to quote the same thing, like, you know, smile and the world smiles with you, weep and you weep alone. So this was the principle I followed because my kids were really very small. And I am an educator. I worked as a teacher. So you imagine me with a sullen face, oh, I've lost my husband, and, you know, going in and out of my school and my day's routine. How would my kids have survived that? So I had to put that smile on my face, and now the smile is like forever. That's the first point. And thank you. And then the second one is that, you know, you have to experience that to feel your presence, or I mean, Ajit's presence, or whoever it is, like how Miss Meghna was telling, Akshay is there with us. So we always feel the spirit is always there with us and, you know, watching us and guarding us. So that's one experience which you...
But how do you all make it sound so easy? You know, I'll tell you, like, anyone who's experienced loss, I mean, my mother died when I was 13 years old. And I think you never get over the loss of someone you love very much. You just find ways to live with it. The sense of that loss never goes. And I don't think I would have the courage that the three of you have. And I think that there are times that you feel that you're going to break from inside. And I'm sure that the three of you have had those days that वो दिन जब उठने का मन नहीं करता, वो दिन जब लगता है आज मेरा दिल टूट गया. सलमा जी?
होता है बरखा. आज भी मुझे जब सुबह उठती हूँ मुझे लगता है अभी जैसे 18 साल हो गए. आज भी जब मैं सुबह उठती हूँ मुझे ये फीलिंग आती है कि आज एक और दिन है जब शफीक नहीं है और मैंने आज ये दिन गुजारना है जैसे वो चाहते थे बच्चों के लिए, मेरे लिए. I am like in his shoes now and I have to perform and do what he would love and do for the family.
But it's extraordinary, लेकिन इतना आसान तो नहीं है ना सलमा जितना आप बता रही हैं कि वो चाहते थे कि मैं ऐसे करूं, मुझे अपनी फैमिली के लिए करना है, पर आप भी इंसान हैं, आपकी भी भावनाएं हैं, आपकी भी इमोशंस हैं.
आसान नहीं था बरखा, बहुत साल लगे मैं कहूँगी. अभी तो 18 साल हो गए. अभी भी कई जगह होते हैं जब लो फील होता है, इमोशंस निकल आते हैं, बच्चों को जैसे बड़े हो रहे हैं देखते हैं, कोई भी उनका अच्छा ओकेशन होगा एंड कहीं भी आप जाओ देखते हैं कि फादर हमेशा साथ है उन बच्चों के लिए. और हम जब भी जाएंगे वी विल बी लाइक सिंगल पेरेंट्स ओवर देयर, जस्ट द मदर्स. We still feel that, and I agree that even Shakuntala does so.
The vacuum will continue to be there, right?
Yeah.
So there are times when, yes, you will feel, oh, you know, why me?
Yeah.
Why couldn't I have an, good life? We were just very young, and we were just taking off as a family. And, it just changed overnight. I had spoken to Ajit the previous day, and we were discussing our holiday plans. And next evening, I get to know.
Where were you going to go?
To Jammu.
For the holiday?
Yeah. So he was in Punch. He said, no, families are not allowed there, but you come down to Jammu. I'll come and meet you there, and then we'll spend some time in Jammu. So that's how it was. So now my son is there. He's serving.
In the same place?
Yes, very much.
Where your husband...
Yes, and the Unit 25RR had just celebrated its 25 years of Golden Jubilee. So they had called me. I couldn't be there, so my son represented his father. So basically, I feel Nirbhay and Akshay, they're like quite oblivious of their father's presence because they were too young. And if I was just going back through the old pictures, and they were just running around the house when the funeral was happening.
They're too young to process.
Too young, and so I had the full support of my family. My brother-in-law is also from the army. He's here with us.
Where are you, sir?
Colonel Arun Bhandarkar is there.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to the officer. Thank you, sir.
There. So both from Ajit's side and my, family, my mom and my brothers, they're always there with me. So I'm grateful to all the family support. I feel if at all I am what I am, it's because of the full support of the family. They've helped me grow in my own career while my mom helped me with my kids. So, and of course, it's the citizens are more aware of what things are nowadays.
There is a greater sense of what soldiers go through, and yet I wonder, how many people really understand, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But Meghna, you have had to fight a battle of a different kind, and that battle is for the honor of your son, who was commended for a Shaurya Chakra, but then this did not go through, and you actually got so upset. You said it's better to be an unsung hero than for this to happen. Talk us through that and how you have committed yourself to that. I know I've been watching you fight this fight for the last couple of years.
But basically, what happened in Nagrota was, I'd like to take you back a little bit to what happened in Nagrota was the Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists infiltrated from Pakistan. They had local network support. They were brought in and left a kilometer short of the Nagrota cantonment. They climbed a little hillock, got in over the wall via a tree, and they killed 4 soldiers on entry, 3 of them who were still sleeping. It was the VRs and a guard, and they had already occupied 2 residential blocks which housed families, women, children, and unarmed men. It was at that critical juncture that my son, Major Akshay Girish, was asked to lead the quick response team. And it is well known that it was the effective response of the QRT that pinned down the terrorists, did not allow them to physically take hostages, kill the women, children, and men, and also did not allow the terrorists to escape from there or cause any collateral damage. And we are from a Fauji family, so we know what it takes. And yes, he was recommended, and for whatever reasons that the system, by oversight or error, I do not know what happened, but what eventually he was named in is something called a mention. A mention which says not gallant enough for a gallantry award. So for someone who's been recommended for his leadership, courage, and who made the supreme sacrifice going into that building and taking on a terrorist at direct gun range. He took multiple bullets. A grenade was fired at him using a UBGL. And that is how he made the supreme sacrifice. Not a single person in those two buildings was harmed. All of them were brought out unharmed. And all I expect is that my nation will respect my son for what he did for the nation.
And you've been fighting relentlessly. And there's now a committee that's been set up to look at this. Where do you get the strength? Because one part of the strength is needed to live without your son. And then you have to draw on some, I don't know, magical reserve of strength to fight this battle.
It doesn't come alone. It's my son's peers, his seniors, those who were in battle around that time, what they have said. It matters. And we have very strong family bonding. My daughter, Akshay's twin sister, Neha is here.
Is your daughter here?
Yes, she's here. Neha is here.
Neha,
so
stand
is Sangeeta.
so we can see you.
So is Sangeeta.
Thank you for all that all of you do for our country. Thank you.
And my husband Girish, we are there, of course, but we have the regiment and, so many people, so many good people, Barkha, even from the media, from various walks of life, have come together because they feel strongly about it. It was widely covered in the media. It was widely reported.
Yeah.
I have all the grit. We call ourselves the grit group.
Yeah, same.
We are a family here now.
We're a family with grit.
No, and I would like to share the same thing. The same thing happened to Ajit as well. We just lost him and I had gone back to Delhi. And why did I go back to Delhi? Because I didn't want to shift my kids in the middle of the academic session. I said that will be more traumatic for them than losing their dad. So I finished their academic session. And in the meantime, Ajit's cousin and a few of his course mates were trying to get me enrolled in the Sainik Welfare Board here in Bangalore. And they just they rejected his case saying that he doesn't belong to Bangalore at all. So show us proof that he belongs to Bangalore. That's what they gave us.
So when you get mired in this kind of bureaucracy,
Yeah.
is that when you start feeling a little cynical?
Yeah, that was the time. I really felt cynical. And people are giving me, his cousin is giving me an update saying that this is what has happened. And I said, just leave it like that. We'll come and we'll see it out. And we had to come here and literally fight a battle, give them all the proofs, his college certificate is... how do you expect an army officer to be sitting in Bangalore and serving the nation? You tell me. Is it possible? So that was the question the government had asked me. And it was really, I was feeling so bad. So all those things said, unsaid, lot of challenges do come our way, just to challenge our strength as to... चलो देखते हैं तू कितना सहती है करके so that's what makes it harder. You know how it is. सब लोग लोहे का देते हैं, diamond is cut with diamonds, so that's how we've got chiseled
Diamonds
out.
are cut with diamonds. I mean, we have 3 diamonds here on stage, no less than your husbands and sons.
We've all been fighting these battles, Barkha. Like, I lost my husband about 18 years back. I'm still waiting for the promised land from the government. And I have gone to each and every corner of the state. But still, my case is mine and many others' case.
18 years in your case. 18 years.
18 years. They tell us to go look for the land and come back with the details. And then they write to the respective DCs. And then they reply back, there is no land available for you. And this has been going on for 18 years now.
And you still keep at it.
Yeah.
आप हार भी तो नहीं मानती?
नहीं, हारे नहीं हैं. Initially, they used to say, take the money and don't wait for the land. But the money was just 25,000 rupees in lieu of the 2 acres of agricultural land in 2001.
And one more thing for all the people here. The state government gives me 250 rupees honorarium for my husband's Shauri Chakra.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
Yes. That's what the...
I'm ashamed to hear this.
I mean, it's... for some time I did receive it because it was like, okay, what were the honor? But then it really gotten too much. And I just want to share it with you as to how the government is.
250 rupees is
Yes.
the value placed on your husband's
Yes,
Shaurya
and
Chakra.
this was set...
250 rupees.
Yes,
I just
yes,
want to
yes,
underline.
yes. 250.
We've all spent more money than that buying a hamburger outside today.
Yes. So that's how it is. And I mean, it's cynical. This is the point at which I get cynical. This was set in the year maybe 1970 or something. So the government has never reviewed it, though the MPs are getting their annual increments and raises. So nobody bothered to look into it. It's
And
the
if I
honor
may
year.
come in here, Shakuntala,
Yes.
Barkha, it's different for different states, apparently.
Oh, is it?
So that's another weird thing. How can it be different for different states? They fight for the country, for the nation, right? You can't have one state like Telangana gives a huge amount and some Maharashtra gives a decent amount.
So
and
this
some-
is a Karnataka-specific
Karnataka
law
specific.
which places 250
Yes, it's the
rupees on
state
the Shaurya
government.
Chakra.
Yes.
Do you sometimes
No,
not...
they have, I think they have reviewed it for the
But you
recent
have been,
ones.
that's what you
I'm,
have been
I'm
getting.
getting that much.
When
That's
you get this 200, how does it come in a check?
No, there's a lot of paperwork involved.
For 250 rupees?
One is the receipt. The other one is the voucher from me saying that I have received that with the stamp paper on it. And then another form for my next year. For the same honorarium, I have to fill the form.
Do you sometimes not feel like, I don't want this money?
No, I told them I don't want it.
Then?
They'll, whenever I go, they'll get hold of it. I'll be busy talking, ma'am, signature. Yeah, no. Kaas, ma'am, kaas.
Shameful.
So I mean, I said no, but then, you know, I have not got for this year.
So here's what I want to ask all three of you. In your case, the 250 rupees value on your husband's Shaurya Chakra. In your case, a gallantry award that should have been but wasn't. So an undermining of the heroism.
In fact, actually, we're just saying withdraw the mention. That's it. He doesn't need anything. He didn't go in for a medal. He went in to do his duty for his country, which he did. Right? Don't give him something he does not deserve. There has to be parity. You can't set a precedence where you lower his gallantry.
So you'd rather that he gets nothing than be
Nothing.
treated like
Why
this.
does he need anything? He's not here to wear a medal, Barkha.
No, I know, but I just think that I'm listening to the three of you. You're running around for land that should have been your due from 18 years ago. You are running pillar to post for the acknowledgement. It's the acknowledgement
I am
of
asking for
Akshay's sacrifice.
justice. And this is for any soldier. I mean, in this case, he's my son, but no soldier should be treated like this. And I think that's a nation's collective responsibility. It's not mine as a family to fight for my son. I think it's a nation's collective responsibility because nothing matters more than honor for a soldier. That's the only thing that matters to a soldier is honor. And I have faith, I still have faith, because it's not yet 2.5 years since I've started fighting. I'm the most recent person who's lost my son. But I still have faith that together, and the authorities and the government will respond. I'm hoping that justice will be done, and nothing like this should happen with anybody else.
So that's what I was going to ask you, that how do you still keep the faith? When I hear the three of you, three different experiences, but the common thread is that, you know, everybody will say we respect our soldiers, but when it comes to the nitty-gritty, when it comes to the specifics, when it comes to how it translates, these are the battles you're fighting, as if the battle of losing these men you love was not hard enough, Salmaji.
Why shouldn't we, Barkha? Why shouldn't we? Because this was promised to us, you know. So,
पर कैसे वो एक ताकत कहाँ से आती है? क्योंकि कई आपको 18 साल हो गए, उनको कितने साल हो गए? 250 रुपए की जो एक, मतलब मुझे कहना नहीं चाहिए लेकिन मुझे बेइज्जती लगती है. और that's exactly what Meghna is saying. It's the honor, it's the izzat. If you can't give the izzat, don't bother. I think that's what you're saying. Because anyway, no one's joining the military for money.
No.
You're joining for that
To
izzat,
serve the
for that
nation,
honor. है ना?
yes.
तो कहाँ से वो ताकत आती है?
I feel we all women have that inner strength within us, you know.
That you do.
Yeah. So when we are exposed to situations, it naturally comes out. And of course, with the support of family, friends, and all the citizens who are there for us, with their support, yes, we can. That's what pushes me to fight for it, though it's 18 years now and it's an old case.
So I want to open this up for questions, but I do want you to talk maybe about people who are not from a military background or who don't have an exposure to it. Veer Nari. आप सब वीर नारी हैं. ये एक बहुत यूनिक फौजी कॉन्सेप्ट है. Please explain करिए for our audience here. Shakuntala.
So I think it's just started off with, after Kargil, I think that's when all of them, the civil society also started getting to know about the military and all that. And that's how it went on. And I think just after that or something, what happened was we were all called war widows. Even some of them, those who do not know this Veer Nari concept, they still call us war widows. So to do away with was such a horrifying term for anybody to use, I guess. And we should not, nobody wants that tag on them. So that's how I think the defense services, the AWA, the Army Welfare Organization, and the Defense Force itself, they put in some thought, and then that's when this concept of Veer Nari came. And then this badge is the badge of honor of nearby joining these services, Balidan badge. And that's how it is. So I guess as a nation, we have also evolved. But, when you go abroad and you see how a veteran is treated, then you just bow your head down and say, Bharat Mata ki Jai. So here we are. I was just telling her, we were all Mother Indias, and she's the most senior-most Mother India for us.
I said, no, they're senior to me because they've been courageous women for almost close to 2 decades, and I am a mother who's still trying to come to terms with my young son's loss. It's not yet 3 years. But we do carry forward a courageous legacy, Barkha. We do have the Major Akshay Girish Memorial Trust, and believe it or not, we go around working with students in schools and colleges, inspiring and motivating them to join the forces.
What do you tell them?
And to be proud of our soldiers and to respect, and that every country has to be defended. And that this is our motherland and we owe our country and we must serve it.
But I'm hearing a contradiction here, because the 3 of you are believers, yet you feel betrayed, you feel let down. By a system, not by an individual.
By the system,
by
I would
system.
not, yes.
Not by a system. I'm calling it
system.
a system because I don't know what else to
so
call it.
So a system can take corrective action. It should.
Shakuntala ji, but when you said, when I go abroad and I see how veterans are treated.
So we are also changing. No? So we see now we've got a wonderful platform for us to voice out. So thank you to Barkha. Please give her also a big round of applause.
Thanks a lot.
Because it's very thoughtful of her. And I just loved your tag, Mother Courage. That's the best compliment I could ever get. Mother Courage.
I agree.
That is what the 3 of you are for me, and I really feel inspired. I know you're all moved and in some ways overwhelmed, but maybe you want to ask them something. Maybe you want to learn something from them. I'm seeing a hand go up there. Yes, please stand and let's get them the mic, please. Yes.
Good afternoon to all of you.
Good evening now.
Okay, good evening, sorry. The government takes a considerable amount of credit for the achievements of the army officer, the army men. Do you think when you said your son was denied the award, do you think there was any biases involved in that case?
I would like to believe that it was a mistake or an oversight. I would not like to think it was intentional. And that is the reason why I expect corrective action should be taken. It's okay to make a mistake. It's not okay to disrespect a soldier for what he's done.
Yeah, here.
Good evening.
Hold it close. Yeah.
Good evening. I'm extremely overwhelmed by this session. And to see such insurmountable strength people of strength sitting before you and, saying like it's not even a big deal, like doing it.
They're not saying it's not a big deal.
No, I'm saying doing it so effortlessly.
Yeah.
Doing it so effortlessly. So I want to know that how are you continuing to be the bigger person? Like, I want to tell you, like, to Shakuntala ma'am, that my dad does not allow my brother to ride a bike. And he has his reasons, precautions, love, and it's insane, but I understand. So I want to know that, I'm trying to comprehend the depths of your strength, sorrow, and I'm falling short.
Okay. I want to also tell you, the audience in this room, and I mean the parents, I have really worked hard as a parent because single parenting is very, very difficult. I trained myself to be a counselor, and when people come to me for counseling, I keep telling them I first did this counseling course for myself, Dr. Ali Khwaja was my mentor, and that's how I got through it. And when they were in my teens, I was getting so upset, so I went and joined Art of Living and started my pranayam and meditation and all that, So we as parents and we as individuals also, Barkha, we have worked a lot. We know, like, self-awareness is very important. I know that I'm feeling low, I'm feeling sometimes, upset, helpless, and, desperate sometimes.
The young girl said that it's effortless. I know it's not effortless. I can only imagine
they say,
how much effort it has taken the three of you.
Yeah, the example of a swan when it's just floating, it looks very, very serene and very graceful, but we all know how much of paddling it has to do to float.
To remain afloat.
Yeah. So that's how it is.
Okay, I want to actually call on Meghna's daughters because I want to hear from them what it's like. Can we ask you to stand? Yeah, I will. Where are you? Yeah. Can we get them a mic, please, there? Yeah. What's it like for you? You're young. You see your mom leading this battle, literally leading battle. Just hold the mic, yeah.
My mom has always inspired me, so she continues to do so.
She never told me that.
You never do. I think she's someone who wears her heart on the sleeve as well, and that's something I would like to learn from her, because I tend to stay quiet, stay internal.
Put it all inside.
Put it all inside. And I think that's how I just admire her, and as she keeps doing this work, I don't know how she finds the strength, but I'm there to support her, and so is the rest of the family.
Do you want to add to that?
I think I would agree with Neha when she says that mom inspires, because I think for me, being a daughter-in-law, the place that I am in right now wouldn't have been possible without them. So
Barkha, I'd like to share here, Sangeeta, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Mama.
Sangeeta was also in Nagrota when the attack happened, Sangeeta and Naina. And we've bonded even after him. Over 1.5 years, Sangeeta and Naina lived in our home. And Sangeeta is now remarried. With all our support and our joy, Sangeeta is remarried
That's
and
wonderful.
resettled.
Sangeeta, can we have you up?
And so I would like to say
Sangeeta up,
this. I am no longer her mother-in-law because she has another mother-in-law. I am another mother now. I could be her second mother.
I think this is just one of the most moving things I've actually heard. And thank you. Thank you for sharing. Can I ask you to come here? Because I just think this is called having a large heart. This is a large heart. This is a young woman who's married, whose husband dies as a hero in action, has a young daughter, and then a mom-in-law who becomes a mom.
Yeah, and she has a sister in Neha. She's always had.
Yeah, I've never felt. I've always told them. I think I've told them before. It's never been, and I've told Akshay multiple times that it's never been an in-law for me from the day I stepped into their house. So, and I think I'll hold that forever.
And I think both of you show that these institutions that we have, they are there to be interpreted with love. They're not there to be codified. What do you think Akshay would be feeling looking down at both of you today? From mom-in-law to mom. That's a good transition.
Smiling his lopsided big smile like he always
He
had.
was very, very handsome. He must be saying, I'm proud of you.
He must be proud of us, I'm sure.
I think we're all proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just want last comments from all three of you. What would you say? You all work with families who have lost loved ones. You work with other Veer Naris. Just closing brief comments. जो लोग फौज में नहीं जाते, जैसे आपने कहा आप इंस्पायर करना चाहते हैं अभी भी कि फौज में भर्ती हुए, आप क्या उनको बोलेंगे सलमा जी?
मैं उनको बोलूँगी इतने ब्रेव रहे हैं अपने सोल्जर्स बिना किसी सोच के कि उनकी फैमिली का क्या होगा, उनके बच्चों का क्या होगा, उनके ड्रीम्स, उनके सपने जो उन्होंने अपने घर के लिए, अपने बच्चों के लिए देखा था, उसके बारे में सोचे बिना उन्होंने अपने कदम आगे बढ़ाए और चले गए बिना सोचे कि उनकी फैमिली का क्या होगा. तो मुझे हमेशा ये लगता है शायद उनके दिमाग में कहीं तो भी ये रहा होगा कि मेरा पूरा देश है मेरे बच्चों के लिए, मेरी फैमिली के लिए, वो सब खड़े हो जाएंगे उनके लिए. बस ये सोच थी जिसने उनको ड्राइव किया आर्मी ज्वाइन करने के लिए, जाने के लिए.
शकुंतला?
So I have two things. One is Army is a wonderful organization. For that matter, Defense Forces is a wonderful organization for youth. I'm looking forward to that scheme wherein all youths should serve at least for 2 years. And that's my vision for India. My vision for India. When there are many countries who have brought in that rule. And the second thing is I was watching the show from morning and अभी मुझे लग रहा है मेरा तो कुछ भी नहीं है.
नहीं.
मेरा तो जो कष्ट मैंने भोगा कुछ भी नहीं है. इतने सारे लोगों ने आए कब से, जब से बचपन से उन्होंने कितना, I mean, they have seen through so many difficult situations. I said I had a wonderful childhood, and at least I'm taken care, by the army and by everyone.
But it is again large-hearted of you to say कि मेरा कष्ट छोटा है. ये आपकी फौजी spirit है. Meghna, last thoughts.
I would like to say the armed forces is a wonderful career. It's very satisfying. You can play any game you want, do any adventure sport you want. You can rise. You can lead a life of respect and honor like no other. The camaraderie lasts a lifetime. It's still our veteran friends and Akshay's classmates who come in and take sessions for the workshops that we hold with students. And two students have already gone into Naval Academy and the OTA. So I think it's a great life. So go for it. If you want to serve your nation, go for it.
So I want to say one thing. I know,
especially for women. Women are doing very well now.
I want to see more and more women in uniform. And one of the extraordinary stories is so many young women who've lost their husbands in action and now joining the military.
Yes,
One's
many.
also seen that happening and it's wonderful. Now, I know that so many of us here have been moved to tears. And I know that three of you really want to reach the younger generation. So on behalf of all of us, I thought I would call on stage a youth icon, someone from a different generation, because here we're really bridging a generation divide. So to honor our Veer Naris, I want to call on stage a youth icon, a very special guest, also our next guest. But first, she will do the honors in felicitating our three Veer Naris with the Her Award. Please put your hands together for Sara Ali Khan walking to the door. Let's give it up for Sara. Thank you, Sara. I want to request you first to honor these three wonderful, brave women and just amazing stories. Everybody's been sobbing here. And since they're reaching out to young people, we thought that a youth icon, tomorrow's superstar, should be the right person to felicitate them. So please, Sara, can you do the honors? Salma, Meghna, and Shakuntala. Meghna, you wanted to say something?
I want to say I'm a big fan of her mothers from Betab.
But what about her?
And of course, she's such a pretty girl. I've not yet seen your movie, Sara Ali Khan, but I promise I will.
Please do watch it. Please do.
Come. Ma'am, can we ask? Let's put our hands together for our Veer Naris, Shakuntala, Meghna. Big round of applause here. And Salma. Can we just come front of stage to get a photograph with all four of you? These are three extraordinary women, and a young extraordinary woman, a next-gen superstar. Honoring them is the spirit of We the Women. Please, a round of applause for our four women on stage here. We can do better than that. Better than that. You want to stand? Feel free to stand. These women do deserve a standing ovation. I believe that.